Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Alex Dworkin and I'm a managing partner at 4D Capital. Today we're going to be looking at Target and whether or not it has hit its bottom. Target has been on our list of possible trades for quite some time, and we're going to take a look and analyze whether or not we've seen the bottom on the stock. Before we do, allow me to introduce myself a little more and exactly what we do. So as I mentioned, my name is Alex Dworkin. And we essentially specialize at 4D Capital. We specialize in a very unique mathematical approach to the stock market where we calculate the market and individual stocks in multidimensional space. And when we do, essentially perfect order emerges. On top of that, over the years, we've developed a number of very powerful timing indicators. And when we combine them both together, we can very often tell not only what any underlying equity or the overall stock market will do, but the time frame associated with it as well. And it doesn't really matter if we're talking about long-term or short-term, it's just a matter of calculating. So I personally believe our work is nearly identical to what Jim Simmons was able to accomplish at Renaissance Technologies. So our firm's goal is to essentially identify stocks that will 2x, 5x, 10x, and do so within a relatively short period of time, or the shortest period of time possible. And of course, that's the goal for everybody. But we have an edge in this particular setup because of our very powerful software that has been developed over the last couple of years. Software that runs calculations, our three-dimensional calculations, calculates the market, calculates the individual stocks, and lets us know exactly what, not all underlying equities, but most underlying equities will do going forward. And based on that, so let me just give you an example. Target is going to be a perfect example today, but let me just give you another example. So we can analyze, or we can scan and calculate the entire S&P 500, and we're looking for stocks that will bottom within a relatively short period of time. And the reason we're looking for the bottoms is because it is from major bottoms that stocks can increase, 1x, 2x, 5x, 10x, and so forth. It's much more dangerous, as you know, to participate on the short side. But nevertheless, the point being is that our software is able to identify those very clear bottoms, and then from those bottoms, and once again we'll demonstrate it today with the target stocks, and from those bottoms, it is able to project what that underlying equity is going to do going forward in both time and price. And then it's our job to pick out only the opportunities that have the clearest upcoming bottom, and then subsequently have the highest possibility of return with the lowest risk profile within the shortest period of time. So we are able to do that, okay? So we have a webinar actually coming up tomorrow, Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're actually going to showcase our software and how we do that. So if you would be interested in checking it out, link in the description of this video, feel free to sign up, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So with that in mind, let's take a look at Target and whether or not it has hit bottom and what's going to happen with the Target going forward. So Target has been on our list of possibilities, very good possibilities for quite some time. And before I jumped in, let me just very quickly describe what you're seeing in front of you, particularly for those who are not familiar with our work. If you are familiar with our work and you've heard this description many, many times before, then I suggest you skip forward probably 2 to 3 minutes and you'll be right there in the middle of our forecast for Target. So the triangles you see at the bottom and the top of the chart represent cycle composites that we have. So the bottom composites are responsible for the bottoms, and as you can see, the top composites are responsible for the tops. So this is a very simplistic representation of a very complex mathematical concept. So we essentially scan the chart in three-dimensional space, we identify those cycles, and we project them into the future. What makes matter even more complicated is that typically in any given stock or market, there are multiple composites that are running at the same time. So I use Dow Jones as an example always, and Dow Jones has two bottom composites and two top composites that are completely different running at the same time. But if you put them together, and you know how to put them together properly, what you're going to see is you're going to be able to replicate what you see on the two-dimensional chart very closely. Okay, so we'd like to say the composite get us into the composites get us into the neighborhood, plus or minus a couple of months of when an important turning point takes place. And what you see here on the line you see is what we call cycle clusters. And cycle clusters essentially give us the exact date of any particular point, turning point is going to occur. And the way these clusters work is also very simplistic representation of a complex mathematical concept. We once again scanned the chart back in three-dimensional space, but these cycles are the ones, our proprietary cycles that we've developed over the years, and we project them into the future. And what we found over the years is that typically very important turning points, well, let's say long-term or short-term, right? So long-term would be very important and short-term would be not so important. But most of them happen when a number of different cycles arrive at the same time. So let's say 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 cycles hitting on the same day. Rest assured there's going to be an important turning point, particularly if those cycles are long-term in nature. So once again, using Dow Jones as an example, on March 6th, 2009, the bottom of that particular sell-off from 2007 top, we had 15 longer-term cycles arriving within a 3-day period of time. So if you know that the market is declining into that particular juncture, and you know it's a very important turning point, you know that the market is going to turn around and then subsequently go higher. And that's exactly what happened. So as you can see here, we had a major cycle composite bottom right here. I guess we're starting with the overall forecast. So let me just, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. So target is looking for an important bottom. This particular cycle has extended quite a bit. It is not as accurate as it should be because, as you know, we are sitting at the bottom as we speak. But we were able to call these declines into in target stocks, and we've been waiting for an important bottom. Whether or not that bottom has arrived, you can ascertain with certainty by signing up for a free trial. We'll have targets, we'll have dates, we have all of that information available. There's no charge, there's no credit card, none of that. So if you would be interested in learning the exact setup and actually what we're doing, I encourage you to sign up for a free trial. Once again, link in the description of this video. But in major terms, we've been looking for this particular bottom that we're hitting into now. This particular cycle is a little bit late, but as you can see, this cycle composite is hitting on a spot, or is suggesting that the bottom is going to arrive within a relatively short period of time, assuming it hasn't arrived yet. Okay, so once this bottom occurs, then it's going to be a very interesting move up for target because it's supposed to surge into this particular top that is scheduled for November of 2028, and the move higher is going to be significant. Let me just show you very quickly by looking at this chart. So this is yet another representation of our three-dimensional calculations. It doesn't make any sense to you, which is perfectly fine, but it makes perfect sense to us. But basically what it's doing, so that's what I was talking about earlier when we scanned the entire S&P 500 and we were able to pick out stocks that will put in important bottoms. So let's assume that this target is putting in an important bottom, and our system has calculated that the bottom is going to be right here. And then from that bottom, it's going to increase substantially. So what are we seeing on the chart in front of you? Once again, probably doesn't make much sense to you, but make a bunch of sense to us. Well, it is saying that by the time that the next top is going to arrive, which is in November of 2028, first of all, the stock is going to break above this level. This is just the mid-level, doesn't matter very much. But at the very least, it's going to reach into this particular target area, which is located at, let's say, $350. So you do the math from, let's see, how much is it today? I don't even remember. Let's keep my mind. I just, never mind. So let's assume $50 a share. I think it was a little bit lower than $50 a share. It's going to increase into this particular area of $350 a share. You do the math, that's quite significant. But you see this darker green region, according to our calculations, this is a higher probability area for the top. And if we take this particular area into consideration, so that's going to be, you know, $450 a share. So that's quite significant, and that's how you see the returns of 5x, 10x, and so forth. We're able to pinpoint the bottom of an upcoming market action for any particular stock, and then from that bottom we're able to make projections in both time and price, and that's how we end up with being able to determine what those stocks are going to do going forward. So let me just open this very quickly one more time. I think we're looking at this. So just to very quickly summarize, basically we're looking for a major bottom in target, and then once that bottom is achieved, we're going to increase quite substantially into this particular top scheduled for November of 2028. As I've mentioned, we have all the targets, we have the trading setups in our free trial, so if you would like to see those, I encourage you to sign up. No credit cards, no strings attached. All you have to do is just request it. The link is in the description of this video. We have a webinar coming up tomorrow. Once again, if you want to see how we calculate the market in three-dimensional space, if you want to see a demonstration of our software, if you want to see what the overall stock market is doing and what it's going to do going forward, I encourage you to sign up. That's going to be very interesting as well. Otherwise, that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll be back with another update tomorrow. Bye-bye.